If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I've been sent to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? Oh, the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
Now, here's your host, DJ Host with the Most.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions. I am your Snap DJ, your host with the most, and of course, I'm not on time, which is more the norm. Unfortunately, yeah, I think I got some good excuses this week. I mean, it is crazy weather up this way. Crazy weather up this way. Since I talked to you guys last, this past weekend, 2 feet of snow has fallen in my town, and insane, like absolutely insane. We are still going through like record-breaking low temperatures. Last night was -4. It has been absolutely insane up here and in the Northeast, and I'm sure it's been like that in other places, because apparently this big cold snap and a lot of this winter weather and stuff has really hit in this section of the country. A friend of mine that I do my other podcast with, the wrestling one, he lives in Albany, and he's been seeing the same thing. So we are very, very lucky because there was a forecasted nor'easter. And if none of you have ever gotten that, obviously you don't live in the Northeast section of the country, but a nor'easter is a very big storm that goes out to the coast. It kind of picks up moisture and stuff in the from the coastline, and it just dumps moisture and snow and all that kind of stuff. We could have gotten, had that developed over us, we would have gotten hit with another 2 feet plus, and it would have been a blizzard. Like, I don't even know where we would have gone with it, because we are buried under snow at this point. So it has been absolutely crazy, and it's been a crazy week. I was off from work actually on Sunday because that was the day the storm hit. And then I was off Monday and Tuesday, so I didn't go back to work until Wednesday. Nor probably could I have anyway. Most of the places in the area were shut down on Sunday. And, nobody kind of went anywhere. I spent most of all day Monday shoveling snow. The next day kind of cleaning up and doing the same thing that day. So, I was beat. It's a lot of snow to shovel, and no place to put it. Literally no place to put it. The city that I live in doesn't have their own plows, unfortunately, and they get streets plowed and stuff by a lawn and garden company, believe it or not. So you can imagine what that looked like. And the streets still, like the side streets in the town and stuff, still aren't cleared off all these days later. It's been insane. And of course, me being a little bit older, I'm 56 years old. I do have some arthritis in my knees and stuff from when I was heavier before I got my surgery. And so I probably overdid it with the shoveling a little bit, and I hurt my right knee. So I ended up having to go to an orthopedist to get a steroid shot in it. And I've got some arthritis in that knee too. So it's been a week. And, it's finally starting to get back to normal a little bit, but the temperatures still haven't improved. It's still like sub-zero at night. And so it's been crazy. And I really wanted to do it a couple of days ago, But I was just way overtired. I'm sitting here, and a lot of times I'll do it at late at night. It's almost midnight here now, which is kind of just my time. My wife goes to bed and stuff like that. So, I really have nothing to distract me or nothing, going on in the house. It's kind of quiet. So, and I really wanted to do it, but I found myself, I was watching some things and then I ended up either falling asleep. I was going to do it was it yesterday? See, I'm losing track of my days. Today is Friday. Yeah, I was going to do it yesterday, but I got into and ended up watching the whole series of Wonder Man, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. I really, really loved it. Disney hits on things sometimes that you really just don't expect. But when I saw that critics were giving it good scores on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, okay, I think this is going to... And then when I kind of heard a little bit more about it, and the fact that Trevor Slattery was back and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, this I think might end up being kind of sneaky good, and it really was. Very easy watch, by the way. I know a lot of people have given up on some of these Disney shows and things like that, but I would definitely tell you to check it out. It was a surprising amount of fun, much like Agatha All Along was for me, for many, many different reasons, though. But this was kind of a good, it kind of reminded me of like 80s and 90s buddy cop films, a little bit, and you threw some other stuff in there and things, but I thought it was really, really good. And if you get a chance to watch it, do. It's very easy watch. It is 8 episodes, but each episode is almost maybe about a half hour, and some of them are less. So it is a very quick and easy watch. But I really enjoyed it. Obviously a lot more than I thought I would when I first heard about it. And for a character that I really don't know a ton about either. Really never read him all that much in the comics because he was in comic books that I just didn't read. So of course I had to go and look him up and stuff like that. And now I'm going to check out some of the comics. But that is my excuses for not getting it out until today. So I apologize for that. But anyway, lots to talk about. We had an OTA that might shake up the meta, but maybe it might not. At least according to what some people are thinking. So we'll go over that quickly. We have a new season coming up. So we're going to rank the cards. Not as many cards as we've been used to. So I don't know. Is this a change? Is this something that they've listened to and kind of heard the thoughts on people, from people rather, thinking that, maybe it was just too much. But we've gone back to 8 cards this month. Instead of some of these months were 10, a couple were 11. So this is an 8-card month. Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, is the theme. So I will rank the 8 cards in the spin as well. We've got a lot of viewer request line stuff this week. A lot of responses to polls and posts that I put out there. So thank you to all of you who have done that. And I'm going to be reading your thoughts on. I have to give John Campia credit for that. Love his whole. Want to hear your thoughts. I love his show, by the way. It's really cool. If you're into movies, go check him out on YouTube. A lot of fun, very entertaining to listen to. He got me into I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks because I was always a big reader. I read so many things throughout the years, and I think I've said it to you guys over the course of time doing the podcast. But I would read a lot of novels, like sci-fi stuff, superhero novels, and stuff like that. Like I still have a copy of Batman Nightfall, the book version, not the comic book version, the graphic novel, but the actual book version. I also had The Death of Superman. They made a novel for that too. But I was reading like paperback books and stuff like that when I was about 8, 9 years old. So I kind of followed in the footsteps of my mom. Although different, my mom read a lot of horror books. But I did some of that too. I did some Stephen King and things like that. But movies that really interest me, I always kind of buy the book, because especially like Star Wars films, superhero films, because I want to go into more detail, because a lot of times they give you a lot more detail in the book, because the writer that writes the stuff, much of the time, a lot of their ideas are taken out of the film because they just can't make the film as long or go into as much detail. So I would always do that. And but it's been a while. And then I started listening to audiobooks, because I would be in my other jobs that I had. I would travel a lot, and I'd be on the road going to meetings and stuff like that. And sometimes the meetings were an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and I'd want something to do, so I would listen to an audiobook. And John Campia's show actually turned me on to audiobooks again. So I've been listening to the audiobook for the Hail Mary Project, which is coming out in March. It's a Ryan Gosling film done by Lord and Miller. And of course, it's a sci-fi thing, so I was going to go see it anyway. But he had talked about how he literally couldn't stop listening to it. And he's already listened to it more than once. And I'm listening to it as well. I picked it up on Audible, and I'm really, really enjoying that. Just kind of listening to it on my way to work. It was a place where I normally listen to podcasts and stuff like that too. But I'm really enjoying the book, and I really think I'm going to enjoy the movie a lot too. So yeah, sometimes just listening to a good book just kind of takes you away. And audiobooks are, and books themselves, right? Before you even see the movie, you come up with the when you're listening to it or you're reading a book, you come up with the thoughts in your head about what these characters are looking like, what the scene that they're talking about entails, what it looks like, and stuff like that. Because it's just, and the voice actor who does the read for the book is an actor I've heard read other books before prior that I have listened to on audio. And very good, because he'll do the voices of all the genders, so women, men, and stuff like that, but all the different characters that he plays, and does a very good job at it. But I'm having a blast listening to that. Now I'm very, very excited to see the film when it comes out. It's going to be pretty long. I think they said 2.5 hours plus. But the plot of it is basically like a science teacher ends up getting recruited to kind of save planet Earth, as something is happening, like where there's going to be a disaster, and he kind of has to go into space, or they send him into space and try to save the world, basically. So it's a cool premise. Obviously sci-fi, like right up my alley. Next to comic books, sci-fi was my other big thing that I liked as a kid. So, but I'm really enjoying it. So if you do listen to audiobooks or you read books and stuff like that, maybe go check it out, especially if you're considering seeing the film, because it's been really, really, really good so far. So yeah, that's what my week has consisted of. I usually talk about music a little bit in the opening. I noticed the last couple of podcasts I have been. I'm kind of excited because one of my favorite bands from the 1980s is doing a reunion, and they're doing a tour, and I'm hoping that they come near me. Closest so far has been Atlantic City, New Jersey, which isn't super far away. But I'm kind of hoping they come to Philly, and if they do, my cousin's already reached out to me and had said that in some of the venues up in Philly, he gets free tickets to. So what I may do is I may meet him up for it. But the band I'm talking about is Men at Work. Oh gosh, always loved them. And, of course, when I first heard Who Can It Be Now, and then, of course, Land Down Under, and stuff like that in the 1980s, and I had all their albums. They didn't do too much. Their first album was called Business as Usual. Their second album was called Cargo, and then I think they had a third album, and that was it. I think they kind of went their separate ways. They broke up, and of course, the lead singer's name is Colin Hay, and he kind of went out on his own. They were Australian, and just struck it really big. And they of course went out on tour, but then they weren't around for very much longer after the MTV days. But they are reuniting, which Colin Hay had been touring, and he would do a lot of the Men at Work stuff. But now they're touring together, and I can't miss that, because they're one of those bands where I was too young to have been seeing concerts at that time. And so really, really looking forward to that. And I'm hoping that they do play somewhere in Philly, and my cousin and I could go, because that will be a lot of fun to go and see them and hear them. I think that'd be very cool. There's bucket list bands. Like I'm sure you guys probably think of that too. Like those of you who are music lovers out there, thinking of the bands that you would love to hear before they either retire or, sadly, some of them just, some of them pass away. I have a lot of regrets that I've never seen Van Halen play. I did see Sammy Hagar in a concert with David Lee Roth, actually, both of the former lead singers of Van Halen, which was very good. They played at Montage Mountain in the Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania area, and it was cool. Like Sammy actually brought fans up on stage, and then they stood on bleachers and sang with him, and then he ended up taking people out for pizza afterwards, which I thought was very cool. David Lee Roth. All I could say is I think he had a little too much to drink that night, and he was kind of forgetting some of the words to some of his songs. But hey, what are you going to do? And then another one that I'm really, really sad I never got to see perform live is Robert Palmer. Big fan of Robert Palmer. And I mean, this is even, I of course I always knew him for his famous, when he really hit it big was of course Addicted to Love. Didn't Mean to Turn You On. That album, just blew up. But he'd been around for a good amount of time before that. Like he was doing stuff in the mid 70s, but then he just blew up in the 80s. And I always wanted to see him. And of course he passed away quite young. And I never got to see him either. So I'm still, always looking to just kind of check those bands off, and a lot of the bands that I really wanted to see before I wasn't able to do that again. And now that I'm a lot more mobile after my surgery, I hope to be able to continue to do that. Like I saw Jeff Tate and his band do Operation Mindcrime last year. I hope to continue to keep that going and see some of these other bands and stuff like that I didn't get a chance to, because they were a big part of my youth and through the 80s and things like that, and I would love to see more of them if they end up going out on tour. So a little bit of music stuff for y'all. I like to kind of talk about that, and because it's such a big part of my life, and of course books and stuff like that too, things that I did when I was a kid. So, all right, well, we are going to get into other things too. Obviously in the show, like I said, the listener call in. There's a lot of stuff like that, a lot of stuff for that section today, and then we will jump on over to the Snap Talk section, where we'll talk about my week in Snap. I ended up playing through Sanctum Showdown, so we'll talk about that and the deck that I used. I'll also talk about some variants and some bundles and things that are in the shop, where I am on ladder and all that good stuff. Then we'll head over to Comics Corner, and where we will talk about the last card of this month, and that is, of course, Shang Chi. So that'll be kind of cool because, again, Shang Chi's been around for a while in Snap, but I didn't get to talk about him in comics because the card came out before I was doing the podcast. So a chance to us to go back and talk about Shang Chi a little bit. And, of course, then we'll talk about his card as well. And then after Comics Corner, we will talk about my picks for the week in comic books and, of course, the Marvel Unlimited app. And then we'll head on over to the MCU Minute, where things are getting really, 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 really interesting about Doomsday and things that are. There was a new poster with artwork that came out just today or the day before, showing pictures of the characters that are going to be in Doomsday, like almost like a drawing kind of a version or a comic book kind of version. No real spoilers. It's just a list of, the characters that we already saw in Chairgate, they called that. But talking about that, rumors about when we're finally going to get some trailers. I would assume Super Bowl because it's so close to coming out. So we'll talk about that in the MCU Minute. And we'll also talk about some other news out there from the MCU, and I'll talk a little bit more about Wonder Man, and of course about the passing of one of the greats, one of the absolute greats in Marvel Comics, and we'll remember him as well in the MCU Minute. And then we will go to Pixel Perspective. We'll talk about video games, and I am going to talk about my wife doesn't normally get into video games much, if at all. And you know, when she does, she watches me kind of play stuff. Like her and I played a lot of Animal Crossing when COVID came. So she really enjoys that. She liked to build her own, her own stuff and her, the house and all that kind of stuff. She enjoyed that part of that. But doesn't really get into it. But her and I watched a stream of someone who played Silent Hill. And she was actually kind of watching through the playthrough. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that game because it's a great game, very psychological horror. And if you're into that, I would definitely tell you to pick it up because it's the remake that they just did by Bloober Team is absolutely fantastic. And I could sit and watch somebody else play it, or I could play whichever. But I'll talk a little bit about that in Pixel Perspective. And then we will tie it all up and bring it all together to end out the show, of course, with the guest lyric. And some people got it. And, of course, it was an easy one. I told you it would be. But it was good old Corey Hart. And there's another person I've never got to see live. And it was, of course, his famous hit song, Sunglasses at Night. You know, it inspired me to actually do that. And you're going to think, oh my God, I actually did wear my sunglasses at night while I was driving in a car once. Might have been one of the scariest things I've ever done, and probably one of the dumbest. But I was driving on the interstate one night, and I thought, you know what? I was listening to it, and I'm like, I'm gonna give this a shot. And I stuck my sunglasses on, and I now granted, I didn't leave them on for very long because it's a very dumb thing to do. But I did try it, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, this is stupid. But it was something. But I always loved the song and you know, one of the staples from the 80s and one of the staple videos that played through MTV as well. So, but congrats to those who got it. You win the Marvel No Prize. So there you go. All right. So we are going to start with the OTA. We're going to start with the OTA. And we're going to go over each one of these changes and look to see exactly what happened here. So we're going to go into the notes, the developer notes and all that good stuff. Let me pull that up quick. And we're gonna talk about all of these changes that they made. Now, I told you guys that the changes were coming. I told you that they were coming, and I said on the 29th I would be extremely surprised if they did not nerf the season pass card. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened. So Shou I still want to pronounce it Shou. I don't know. I like the SHOW and stuff like that. I don't know. I still think it's Shou, but whatever. To each their own. Everybody can kind of say what it is they want. All right. So here we go. This is the dev's notes on each change. So first of all, of course, it all starts with Shou the Undying. It says, "Hey folks, today we're going to be nerfing Shou, which came in a touch too hot, as well as shave some additional outliers. After that, we'll be handing out some buffs, including a recent underperforming card and making our regularly scheduled small adjustment to the move deck." Yeah, move gets a lot of attention. All right, so let's get to it. So Shu Lao, the Undying, is going from a 5.8 to a 5.6. So that's pretty much the change. Nothing to his card text. So it says Shu Lao has been consistently one of the highest played and most winning cards since its release. Overall, we've been happy with the card, given that it asks a medium-sized question of players with an exciting reward of a bunch of numbers and additional agency of where to produce it. That said, it is granting a lot of power, and the ability to allocate it in 2 different locations gives Shu Lao a distinct advantage over many other large number options. We like that Shu Lao requires deck building distinctions, but not too much, which has been a misstep we've had on some other conditional cards in recent seasons. We're choosing to take 2 base power away from Shu Lao, rather than reducing his power grant to +2 per 2 cards played. We want to keep the payoff strong, and this should reduce the strength of the 2 location pressure that Shu provides. This may seem like a fairly modest nerf of Shu Lao to some, but we've got some other changes coming up shortly that we think will make some smaller impact on Shu's performance. We're going to start here and see if Shu, his win rate gets a more reasonable range for the long term. So the other changes they were talking about, the second one, I knew, and everybody knew this one was getting hit, and it's Maverick. I mean, this card, just way too strong. Way too strong for what he did, and I'm not at all surprised that he's taken a nerf here either. He goes from a 3-3 to a 3-2. Maverick's ability to multiply buffs alongside the level of agency he gives players to scale has overperformed relative to our expectations. We don't love this nerf, but we'd like to avoid adjusting Maverick's cost if possible, given how sensitive Activate cards have been to having higher energy costs in the past. Our hope is that this makes Maverick more of a card that you need to dedicate to buffing to realize his full potential, rather than being a 3-6 that often performs closer to a 3-10 or higher at base. So Maverick had it coming. Let's face it. Like I said, the card was entirely too strong. And it started off being like that card brought Galactus back. Let's just say that. That brought the OG Galactus back. That's how strong the card was. Because of, buffing him first and then sending the big buff over to Galactus and stuff. So, if any card could do that, it's probably worth a nerf. So Maverick takes a nerf. Also, Merlin's skill Omniversal Presence gets nerfed. It goes to instead of giving him +2 power, it goes to +1. Our last Merlin adjustment was modest, and as expected, so was his change in win rate. We don't want to make any drastic changes that make Merlin too clunky or unfun to play with, so we're continuing to make some small adjustments. Omniversal Presence is Merlin's strongest spell, and as a result, we'll be removing a power from it. Yeah, Merlin's biggest advantage, or one of his biggest advantages, is the location change. Because again, it's like having a what's the red Thanos stone. It's like having one in every deck, and you could even maybe get to do it multiple times. So it is a strong spell, and that in combination with the Shou stuff and everything else is just a lot. So this one I think had it coming, and as did the next one coming up too, which is Deafening Chord. I told you guys that I thought that was the best card of the month, or my pick for best card of the month, and I stood by it. It was entirely too strong, I think, for what it did. So Deafening Chord says, on reveal, afflict an enemy character here that costs 3 or less with -1 power and move its text. The new is remove the text of an enemy 3-cost card or lower character here. So it's removing the text, but it's not going to give the -1 power anymore. So it was too good for what it was. And technically, removing the text is a Cosmic Ghost Rider, and then you're giving it -1 as well. That's a lot. So I would agree. I agree with this change too. Before release, we suspect the Deafening Chord could be sufficiently strong without its -1 power affliction, but we decided to keep it due to the strength of many cards that it targets at the time. Given Chord's win rate, we're happy to remove the affliction now that we've taken action against various outliers, including Merlin, Victoria Hand, Human Torch, and Maverick. The next one here was kind of a sneaky one, but I do agree that it needed to be done. And this is Spider Ham. He goes from an 1-2, activate, replace the text of a random character in your opponent's hand with Oink. Of course, he turns it into a pig. And they're just taking a point of power off him to a 1-1 versus a 1-2. Frankly, we don't view Spider Ham as the most fun card to be strong. I would agree with that. We're quite sensitive to when effects like this begin to creep up in win rate. And now that it has, we'll be removing a point of power from it. Bears repeating that we don't want to remove players' ability for counterplay, but we do believe Marvel Snap is the most fun when players generally get to enact their synergies. I am going to predict that they're not done with this card, because I don't think that people are going to be done with it just with the loss of 1 point of power. And I was watching KM Best's video on this the other day, and he made a great point. This card eliminates a card in your opponent's hand. Just eliminates it. I don't care what it is. Chances are your opponent is not going to play it. It basically just trashes a card. And that is a very strong ability to have. Very strong. Like, many times, you all know when you're playing Marvel Snap, you might have a 1 or 2 card combo or something, or a certain card in your deck that you just need to have, right? Victoria Hand decks need to have Victoria Hand. Invisible Woman decks need to have Invisible Woman. If Spider Ham hits that card, you're toast. Hella decks need to have Hella, right? Boom. Spider Ham hits it. You're toast. You're gone. You are out of the game. Now maybe you'll get lucky and you may still win. Like some of the decks, like the ramp deck that has Fin Fang Foom, they have several ways to win. But if you are playing a combo deck and this hits your combo, you're DOA. You're done. And so I think that this card needs another change. Again, KM said a rework. I would agree with that. I think this card needs to be reworked. I still think it's too powerful as to what it does. So I would say for them to maybe go the route of Kang here and just remake the card. Because I think for a 1-1, I think it's just too powerful. And I think it could just screw over your opponent in too many different ways. And so I agree with him on this card. I think the nerf was definitely warranted for it, but it needs to be something a little bit worse, I think, than just 1 point of power. So we'll see. And then we've got some other changes here, and these are all changes for the good. We got a buff to Colonel America, just going from a 3-3 to a 3-4. They say this is a small change, but Colonel America has been underperforming for a while now, even after the release of Weapon H. We like his incentives to encourage slightly different play patterns than many of the traditional discard decks, so we'll be giving him a point of power. Doom again, Doom 2099. I mean, I don't know. Is this because of the Doomsday hype? I don't know. Maybe somebody's listening to my show and they're getting all hyped up for Doomsday, but I don't know, man. They really seem like they want this deck to work, but it just doesn't. People put Regis put one together. I saw he kind of always plays with the cards that get changed and stuff in it. I don't know. I just think it just doesn't work in this meta. It just gets way overpowered. And so, I don't know. I've seen some people trying to play it again, too, because I think technically people like this deck, but I just don't think it's that strong enough. And given Doom and going from a 4-5 to a 4-6, I really don't think it's going to do much, because really, what did all the damage in this deck were the Doom bots. And so, if, they're still nerfed, making him a 4-6 isn't really going to do much. And so, all you people that love the Doom decks, I don't think this is the nerf that you were or the buff that you were waiting for. Lin Lee's getting a buff from a 2-2 to a 2-3, and so is his sword as well, going from a +7 to a +8. And this is part of that move package they were telling you in the notes earlier that they were changing. We think Lin Lee has the potential to be very fun, but he has a very specific ask necessitating a move or bounce variant. Both decks we'd view as becoming more fun if they were interested in adding Lin Li, so we're trying to give a little more juice for the squeeze, allocating 2 total additional points when you complete his quest of getting him to his sword's location. And then Topaz is getting a buff, going from a 3-5 to a 2-3. This could be a little bit dangerous. IMO. This could be... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If move becomes prominent, this card is quite strong in move decks. And this could very much see... Boy, they really love this deck to be prominent in the game. And me being a move hater, I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. I don't like this deck type. I don't love... If any of you are with me, let me know. I hate playing move, and I hate playing against it. I just do not like it. And they better watch with this Topaz change, though, because this can bring Human Torch straight back into the meta. And, he kind of exited for a little bit because there were still the hardcore move players out there that were playing it. But this could bring it right back. And the notes say your regularly scheduled small move adjustment is here at Topaz. Topaz is a unique move enabler that has proven to be just a little too clunky for most move decks. Hopefully this mitigates that and gives the move another multi-moving tool that can help the deck leverage some of the payoffs that require more movement in the wake of Human Torch's nerf. And notice they mentioned Human Torch in there too. It's kind of like a little bit of a, hey, by the way, Human Torch people, you could play that with Topaz, just so you know. Yeah, I know some people love it. I can't be bothered with it because it to me it's just too much thought. I don't want to. That's too much thought for me to play, and so I don't know. I guess we'll see. If move just starts coming back to prominence lately, but. In any case, that was the OTA. And I'll get to your comments in a little bit when I get to the request line. But next up here, we're going to go to some card ranks. Going to do some card ranks. And we're going to go over my card ranks for the cards of the month. We have 8 cards to rank. They are Star-Lord, Master of the Sun, your Season Pass card. Magus, I believe, is the premium pass card, which, by the way, I'm going to have some more giveaways for season pass cards for this coming month for Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'll have probably pretty similar to what I was doing last time. Sub to my YouTube channel, drop a comment there. Should probably be similar to that. I'll probably have one that's going to have you follow me on Twitter and also and also sub to my YouTube channel and drop me a comment. It'd be something along those lines. But that will be coming up probably sometime this week. So watch for that if you're listening. You can possibly win yourself a Guardian Season Pass as well. So I should have 3 of them, I think, to give away. But Star-Lord, Master of the Sun, we have Magus, one of my favorite comic book characters. I'm glad he's finally in it. Moon Dragon. We have Drax, Avatar of Life. We have Major Victory. And we have Kraglin. We have Jack Flag. And we have Starhawk. So, these are the finalized cards. They have been changed. So, I did of course, talked about the data mines before, but some of them have been changed. So, let me read them quickly. We have Star-Lord, Master of the Sun. He is a 4/5. On reveal, next turn, you get +1 energy. For each turn, you've ended with unspent energy. This gains that much power. Wow. So, for each turn that you ended with unspent energy, he's going to get a +1, or you're going to get a +1 energy for each turn that you've ended with unspent energy. And then Star-Lord also gains that much power. So this card is now crazy. This card is very strong now. And it wasn't like this before. But they changed it. This card is quite powerful. Quite powerful. Magus is a 3/5. Activate. Copy the text of a character in your deck with cost equal to your unspent energy. So equal to your unspent energy. So the cost of it, if you, let's say you didn't spend, you have 2 unspent energy. So the cost of it will be a 2 or a 1. And it's going to copy the text of a character in your deck. That's also pretty darn good. Magus is deserving of that, I think, because Magus is a very powerful character in the comics. I can't wait to do Comics Corner with him. I'm pretty excited about it. Next up, we have Moondragon, a 2/2. End of turn, +2 power if you played 1 card this turn and spent all your energy. That's an end of turn ability. So she's going to get a +2 power if you played 1 card this turn and spent all your energy. So again, I think I talked about Electro being that kind of a card that will make you do that, right? Because you can only put out 1 card. Sandman is another one that may come up with Moondragon because again, you're only playing 1 card per turn, every turn. So she's going to grow and get that +2 power every turn with that. So then we got Drax, Avatar of Life. He is a 3/4, another end of turn card, +3 power if your opponent played a card with greater power this turn. So he's going to get a +3 power if your opponent played a card with greater power. So this is going to penalize a lot of the ramp type deck cards because they are constantly playing out big cards. Whether it be an Ares or whether it be an Infinite or whether it be playing, this is going to be an anti-ramp card with all those big cards in there. Fin Fang Foom, all of that. This is going to penalize those decks because he's going to gain 3 power if your opponent played a card with greater power this turn. So he can end up getting pretty big if you're playing against opponents like that. And it is an end of turn ability. And then also he has in there, move to that card if you'd be winning the location. So you're also going to get to move him. And this is also part of the end of turn. So he can move at the end of the game and end up winning a location. Let's say he gets, let's say they're playing a lot of big cards. It gets to a 4/7, gets to a 3/7, then maybe a 3/10, then maybe even a 3/13. And then he's going to be able to move at the end of the game, which is pretty sick. Pretty sick. Then we have Major Victory. He's at 3/4. Remember, look at all these 3 cards. Boy, Surfer might be a very happy camper this month. On reveal, add 2 members of the Guardians crew to your hand. Now, this is interesting to me, too, because is it just relegated to the Guardians for this month? Or is he going to add Guardians from the past to your hand? Like Rocket Raccoon, or Groot, or Rocket and Groot, or Star-Lord, like the older cards, or is it just these newer cards? I don't really know that. But that's kind of interesting. Then we have Kraglin. He is a 3/3. Major Victory, by the way, is a Series 4 card. Drax is a Series 5. Moondragon Series 5. And Star-Lord and Magus are the Season Pass cards. Kraglin is Major Victory was a Series 4. Kraglin is Series 5. 3/3. On reveal, banish the top card of your deck. If it was 4 cost or higher, +2 energy next turn. Otherwise, give this +4 power. So you get an either or. It's a one-time thing. So you can go to a 3/7, which isn't bad, I guess. Or if it's the or part of it, if it was 4 cost or higher, you get +2 energy next turn. So it gives you either +2 energy or it ends up being a 3/7. So Then we go to Jack Flag is a 3/3, another 3 cost. Ongoing, your cards here with increased power have +2 power. So this is a buff deck card, obviously. They're gonna just gain more, and he's ongoing. So that's your cards here with increased power have +2. So if they're sitting in a lane with Jack Flag, it's ongoing, and so these cards can just keep building up and up. Series 5 card as well. And then lastly, we have Starhawk, who is a Series 4, 2/2, on reveal, on odd turns. Give your cards at the left location +1 power. On even turns, give to the right location. So your cards at the left locations on odd turns are going to get +1. And on even turns, going to be +1 on the right location. So again, he's on reveal. So it's when you play him, is when your cards and stuff are going to get. So probably late in the game, you want to wait until all your cards are in there. So he could either be either way. I'm going to give your cards at the left location. If at most, he's going to be a 2/6. And the same thing with the right location. So 2/6 at the most, kind of a weird thing. So, all right, let's rank these guys. My lowest one already, I'm already going to say it's going to be Starhawk. Okay ability, I guess, but, a 2/6. You kind of, like I said, have to kind of wait till later in the game to give all your cards that +1 power bonus. And I guess, it could be kind of a surprising on reveal if you wait until the end of the game. And you get that extra +4 power possibly to a lane. But I still don't think it's all that strong. So I'm going to say that that's my number 8 card. And it is a Series 4 card, so not really surprising. Number 7, I'm going to go with Major Victory, the other Series 4 card. Again, I don't know enough to know about the card, whether it's going to give you other Guardians besides these. It doesn't say just these Guardians. So I'm assuming it could be any, but let's say you get Mantis. Poor Mantis. There's a new variant out of Mantis. Oh, God, she's just terrible. But let's say you get her, if it does apply to the other Guardians. Or just somebody else that you just don't want or don't need. I don't know. It's very, very random. And, let's say you get Yondu at a bad time or something like that. Remember, it's a 3 cost, so you're going to be playing it at 3, 4, or 5 and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Again, it's definitely a Series 4 card. It's definitely a Series 4 card. So, he's my number 7. Number 6. I'm going to go number 6. I'm going to go with Kraglin. Again, 3/7 is what he's going to be. If you're first of all, you're banishing a card too. So you're banishing the top card. If it was 4 cost or higher, you gain the +2 energy. I think I would definitely want the +2 energy bet more than this. So this is a card you can maybe play with Howard the Duck. Which is kind of weird. Normally, the only thing I ever see being played, or Howard being played in, is Tribunal decks. So, but it's a card you can combine with Howard the Duck, because you can kind of control it as to what you get, whether you're going to get the +2 energy or the +4 power. I think it's definitely better if you get the +2 energy the next turn, rather than the 4 power and make him a 3/7. It's like, who cares? But the card just doesn't excite me. I never play Howard the Duck, and I don't think putting Howard the Duck in a deck is going to be a great thing either. So he's going to be my number 6. Number 5. I'm going to go with Jack Flag. Again, ongoing, your cards here with increased power have +2. I'm not a buff guy. I don't like to play buff decks much. They're not my thing. So people that'll probably have this a lot higher are going to be probably people that do love those buff type decks, and a lot of people do. I'm just not into that archetype, so I don't see myself ever really getting excited about this or playing with this. It may be very strong. Ongoing, your cards here with increased power of +2, and it is ongoing. So, but for me, it's not great for me. So, 8, 7, 6. I'm going to make that my number 5. Number 4. Now it gets tough. Number 4. I'm going to go with Drax. Again, and Drax and Moondragon, I think I'm ranking them where they are because of their end of turn capabilities. So again, Drax 3/4 +3 power at the end of turn. If your opponent played a card with greater power this turn, move. I like the move synergy too, where it's going to move. So +3 power, go to a 3/7. End of turn ability. So you can get this to work more than once if you play it in an Invisible Woman deck. Or, if you just have other cards that like Jocasta in the deck or something like that. And then the fact that he can move, especially like at the end of the game. So it's almost like having a Hydra Bob, like the Invisible Woman decks would have, but it's almost actually better. So I'm going to go with Drax as my number 4. I'm going to go with Moondragon as my number 3. Moondragon, also the end of turn. +2 power if you played one card this turn and spent all of your energy. So again, I think she can climb pretty easily. And it is end of turn. So, I think you can get her up. But again, the most you're gonna play, if you play her on turn 2, and you're spending all your energy every single turn, and you have to play one card only. So I think she could. You know what? I'm gonna reverse this. I'm gonna go with Moondragon at number 4 and put Drax at number 3. Because I think Drax is actually going to be a little bit better than Moondragon. Moondragon is for a specific type of deck. And like I said, that is, I think, that new ramp list that I think she's going to work well in. She's going to be another card that's going to be able to build up quite easily. And that deck a lot of times is looking for cards to play at the beginning of the game. So, because many times you don't really have a card in there that's going to be in the number 1 slot, sometimes the number 2 slot. You're kind of just sitting there. I've told you guys that. That deck makes me so nervous because many times I'm sitting there and I'm waiting to make a play. I'm waiting to make a play because I don't have anything until like Electro comes out or something like that. Well, now this is one. I mean, now obviously a lot of those decks have Chamber. So are you going to want to play Moondragon over Chamber? Probably not. But if this card builds up, it might be another card you want to play in there with Chamber as another low-end card that can fit pretty well in that archetype and can build pretty well. So I'll put Moondragon at 4 and I'll put Drax at 3. Now we've got the Season Pass card and we've got the Extended Season Pass card. So I'm going to go with Star-Lord Master of the Sun at number 2. You're going to say this is biased because I love the character. There might be a little bit of that coming in here for the character I made number 1. But Star-Lord Master of the Sun, I'm going to make my number 2. Again, on reveal, next turn you get +1 energy. For each turn you've ended with unspent energy. So, Hello Wiccan, or Fallen One, or any of that kind of stuff. Or just like a high Evo is so highly up there in the charts right now for deck archetype. This is one that you're gonna want to this might sneak into like a high Evo list because you're not spending all your unspent energy. You're gonna use a Sunspot and stuff like that to collect all that. So this is one of those cards where you get rewarded for that when you use the on reveal. So next turn you get a +1 energy for each turn you've ended with unspent energy. So that goes back to the beginning of the game. So if you have something in there that you're not spending all your energy with, you're going to get a lot of energy from this dude. And it also gains that much power. So pretty good card for a pretty good deck archetype. I'm going to have that my number 2, but I'm going to go with Magus as my number 1. Again, 3/5, activate, copy the text of a character in your deck. Now, how many times do you kind of make it so that you don't want or you don't get a certain card that you want to get, right? You're trying to fish for that card and you're hoping you get that card and you don't get it, right? That now this card can actually do that. This card is going to pick up the text of a character in your deck with a cost equal to your unspent energy. Now, obviously, you can, let's say again, you're playing decks that are going to generate a lot of energy, right? And let's say you have a big card in your deck that you want to have the text from. You are going to be able to kind of plan ahead with that, right? Like a Hela. Or let's say you want to have a Fin Fang Foom that he could copy. You're going to want to make sure that you're not spending. You could save all that energy, like more than 7 energy, and you could pretty much guarantee or kind of know what you're going to get him to copy. So imagine having 2 Fin Fang Fooms in your deck, or having the fact that you didn't get another one just by drawing it. So. And yes, I do love the character, so that may be playing into a little bit too, but Magus is my number 1. So there you go. That is the OTA, and that is of course a preview, and my picks for the cards for next month. So, all right, I think that's it for the spin. So I had also said, now there are people doing their awards for the year, right? I watched KM do his the other day, and others have been doing their awards for. But I was going to do this, but I actually want to hear from you with this. We're going to be doing our wrestling awards on my wrestling podcast for the year too. We call our awards the TIGS awards in the wrestling podcast that we do. And the reason we do that is, good old Mr. McMahon, always going, this is good shit. And that's why we named it that, the TIGS awards. We do our wrestling awards every single year. And so, I thought I'd have a little bit of fun, and I do the Snappies. Let's do the Snappies, I'm going to call it. But I'm going to save that, and I'm going to do that next week, because I want you guys that are listening to the pod, I want you to think about, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of topics for the Snappies. So I'm going to probably keep it to maybe like 5, right? Like best card of the year, worst card of the year, best card change of the year, best deck. I'll think of 5, and I'm going to post them on all my social media. So I'll post them on my Discord, I'll post them on X, post them on Blue Sky, and I'll post it on YouTube as well. I'll do a community post, and I want you guys to vote, and I want to see what you guys vote as yours. So of course I'll award the votes based on what you vote, and I'll tell you what my choices are for the Snappy Awards, because of course we got the Oscars coming up. I know a lot of movies were just nominated for the Oscars for this year, and it is award season. It'll be award season for sports once the NFL is done and the Super Bowl's over and stuff like that. You'll see all the NFL awards being given out and all that. So yeah, let's have some fun with that. And I'd love to get your input on the Snappy. So we'll do that next week. I was going to do them this week, but we'll do those next week because I'd like to involve you guys, and I'll get those out in the next couple of days so that you guys can vote. And I'd love to hear from you. So please go ahead and do that. Those of you that are listening on audio or checking out the podcast over on my YouTube page, I appreciate all of you. But yeah, go ahead and vote for the Snappies when I get them out there. All right, the next the topic here is we're going to go to the listener call-in, and I had a lot of people responding to some posts this week, and the first one I had was Guardian season coming up this Tuesday. Which of the cards are you most excited for? And I asked for some of your thoughts. So my comic book collection says I'm most excited to see which cards Vance Astro Contutor. I love that. Tommy Zoid, not excited at all. Says absolutely none of them. Mr. Marvel says Kraglin with an exclamation point. And then I also have, and this is at Sakasa _Marvel, says Kraglin and Moondragon are the ones they are looking forward to the most. I think, let me see if I put this over on Blue Sky as well. Just have to check out the Blue Sky, because they do have some people that have... Well, we do have some comments from some people over here, but for a different post. I asked people what you thought or what your thoughts were about the OTA. So Voltron Pilot responded and said, lame OTA that didn't change the way the nerfed cards are used. The Shu Lao into Scarlet Spider combo continues to wreck the meta. Merlin's value is in the spells, not his stats. You have to work a little harder with Maverick, but buffing him was already the strategy. Disappointed, says Voltron Pilot. Gandora says, Shang should have been on it. Reverted back to the destroys all enemy cards above 10 power ability. There's so many big power cards now, and a single target isn't cutting it anymore. I said back, I really think they dislike tech cards for the overall game. Gandora said they dislike a lot of things, which, to be honest, the dislike from how I'm seeing it may mainly stem from the fact that the deck size is now far too small compared to the continually bloated card pool. You can't put all destroy cards or all discarder cards in a deck anymore because there's too many cards. It goes on to continue to say it's sad, and the fact that a lot of players turn to being immediately toxic when the game is seriously not going their opponent's way isn't a good look either. It needs to be addressed somehow. As for the deck size thing, dislike, main point is mill. They said mill cards would be a once in a blue moon. I wrote back, a lot of players I encounter still play mill decks, but I usually don't have an issue beating them. And they said mill is passable at best, but it's clear they have no intentions of supporting or giving it buffs. I'm to the point I'd rather see the true milling cards, Zemo and Yondu, changed to support other archetypes, like how Yondu could be used in Destroy. They won't even build support for Banish. Gandora obviously likes mill. So thank you for the comments. Appreciate that. And then I asked, I'll get to that one last because that's kind of a cool topic. So let's see if I got any more here on the Twitter machine. New Balance update has gone live. Lindley, Iron Fist, packs more punch. This was from Marvel Snap. I just reposted. And then let's see. Didn't get any responses for thoughts on the OTA on X. Got some from this post, though. This is what I put down. Rip Shou and a toast to Maverick also. Got to say, I'm quite happy to see the meta change. Been a little bit overbearing. Reviews from the Tub responded and said, Shou's nerf stings a little, but I don't think enough to make me stop playing it. It's all about hitting the Iron Man or Scarlet Spidey and way for me. Arctic says, don't see how anything changes. You don't play Shou for his own power anyway. The effect is still very strong and easy to achieve. I like KM Best's approach of making it characters only with skills. It's just too easy for how strong the effect is. Vladimir responded and says, I love the Topaz stuff. I've always said that either Topaz and or Hercules needed to be 2 cost. And then Maverick says, I take the Maverick nerfs personally. Maverick 0023, I would imagine you would. I would imagine you would with that name. All right, let's see. Now, this one was fun. Glenn Jones, of course, one of the devs and creators of Snap, put up a post as a response to someone saying about clues for what's coming the rest of the year in Marvel Snap. And he responded with emojis, which this created so many cool things that people put out there. So I'm going to tell you what my response to them are, and I'm going to tell what some people also responded to others. But this really got up a lot of cool thoughts about what the rest of the year might look like. So the first, of course, response was the dragon, obviously for the current season we're in. Then he responded Galaxy Brain, which of course is going to refer to next season with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Then he's got an hourglass emoji for the next one. Then he's got a clock emoji for the one after that. He's got some sunglasses after that, a wave emoji. He's got a sunrise emoji, a cow emoji, a mirror emoji, a tooth emoji, an emoji which is a hexagon, an orange hexagon with a question mark. And then he's got a doctor emoji. So very interesting. And here these are my guesses on these. And you guys can tell me what yours are too if you haven't seen this post. Number one, of course, is Dragons. Number two, of course, is Guardians of the Galaxy. The hourglass has to be Age of Apocalypse. Now, some are saying that that's going to get continued into April. That not only are you going to have that in March, but also have it in April. So that could also be in reference to the clock. Now, I thought a cool one would be Time Runs Out for the clock emoji for the comic series, but they're probably right because the data mines are showing that there are more Apocalypse stuff coming. So that could be a 2-part season, and that would make a lot of sense for that. So they were probably right with that. But I thought Time Runs Out would be a cool storyline to follow for a season. The sunglasses, I'm pretty sure, are definitely Daredevil Born Again. We need a Daredevil season. There is no doubt about it. A lot of you have been asking for it, and because that is coming out, we got our first trailer for it, by the way, for Daredevil Born Again, and that is coming out in April. So that would make a lot of sense that would be coming out. The wave emoji, I had to go with maybe like Atlanteans, being that, you know, Namor now is involved in Doomsday and stuff like that. So we may get an Atlantean series. Now we already do, though, have Namor and Namora in the game. So, you know, it would be other characters that they would have to do. So I don't know. Could they get a full season of Atlanteans? If not, who do you guys think would the wave be? Now, I also kind of thought, because it's June, could we be getting a summer season? Like, now, Marvel many times would do these swimsuits, like comics, where they would have the Marvel characters in swimsuits. So could we be getting, but I mean, that would be just kind of variance, right? Wouldn't really be any different characters or anything like that if they did something like that. So I don't know. Could it be like a summer fun season? I'm not really too sure. Atlanteans would kind of make sense, but I don't know if there's enough Atlantean cards that they could come up with to put in there. So we'll see. The next one with the sunrise, very clever, but it's got to be in July. It's in July, and it's got to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. Got to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. With the sunrise coming over, that, you know, that very clever with that one, but it's got to be, right? And that's exactly when we're getting Spider-Man is in July. So has to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. They've got to capitalize on that big Marvel film, especially since we're only getting 2 this year. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Now the cow, you guys can tell me. I don't know what this could be. A few people said a Western theme. You know, for cowboy, man, I'd be all over that. I would be all over that. There are so many Marvel Western characters that would be fantastic. I would love to see them do something like that, and it is coming out in August. The 9th one, which would be for September, is like a mirror. So, you know, what could the mirror be? A clone series? You know, like reflections in a mirror. And we do have that famous thing that people use a lot of times of Peter Parker looking at himself in the mirror. So could we get kind of a continuation? But if this Spider-Man Brand New Day was just in July, are they going to do it again in September? I don't know. But the mirror is interesting. Could it be like a mirror dimension kind of a thing? I don't know. Again, you guys can give me your thoughts on all these. The next one we have is the Tooth. Now, this has to be something Halloween related. Has to be something Halloween related because it's October. A vampire season, perhaps, because the Tooth is an incisor. And it also looks like a fang. So I would say a vampire season I think would be cool. I said like Hannibal King, Frank Drake, Brielle Brooks, people from Blade Comics, Deacon Frost, who of course was the villain in the first Blade movie. I think that'd be cool. I know some people were saying that they might continue like the zombies and the horde stuff. I don't think so. I think they're going to go with something a little different this year. I'd hope that they would for Halloween. But I would think a vampire season would be pretty cool. So I'm going to go with that for that one. Then the next one with the emoji with the question mark emoji inside the orange hexagon. I have no idea what that could be. Some people are saying another what if. They could do another what if, but I kind of balked at that a little bit because the what if is done. They're not doing any more what ifs in the MCU. But I mean, of course they can still do what if is still pretty popular in comics, right? If they decided they wanted to do a what if season every year, they can still take a lot of what if stuff from the comics, not just from the MCU itself. So I don't know. It could be what if. I don't know what else a question mark could be, to be honest. I was kind of just thinking that they're just unsure of what it's going to be right now. Like they just don't know what November's going to be yet, is what I went with, but I don't know. And then last but not least, the Doctor. Come on, man. Gotta be Doomsday. Got to be Doomsday. This is going to be the most fun December season I think we've had in a while. And I am fired up for Doomsday, man. All the cards that we could get from the MCU, and this is going to be the MCU's biggest release in a long time. They're already calling it's going to be like Barbenheimer because Dune's coming out at the same time. Man, for the amount of people are looking forward to this, and of course we can get cards. Now I will warn you guys, those of you who say you hate repeat cards, I'm just going to warn you. We might get a lot of repeat cards, but look, we may get MCU versions of the X-Men. We might get MCU versions of Spider-Man, let's say. I mean, could we get a version of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? Or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man? Are they going to be in the film? We don't know, but we could get variants of a lot of cards here. And I'm sure we're going to get another Doom. So for those of you who don't like repeat cards, just get ready because Doomsday is probably going to have them. And I'm fine with that. I think that's cool. Now, they could also go the route of the comics, and they could do a lot of the stuff from the Doomsday comics. And we might have some other characters we have not seen before. The Beyonder, perhaps. Or the Maker, perhaps. The other variant of Reed Richards. We could see some of that kind of thing going on. They may save those, though, until next December, and that's going to be Secret War. Because that's when you're going to get the God Emperor Doom. That's when you could get King Thanos. I'm sure they're going to make a King Thanos card. And you can get Sheriff Strange. So I think that's more what you're going to see in those. Now we all know Chris Evans is coming back. The one from that stayed in the other dimension with Peggy Carter. So you may see a Captain America, like another Cap card, which could be the Chris Evans Captain America. You might see, maybe you see Nomad, the card Nomad. So a lot of exciting stuff. And I thought this was a very, very cool post. And I'm going to read I'm going to see what some of you have said here. Simo says, here's an obscure one. Cows could be Skrulls. Secret Invasion tie-in. That's some deep Marvel lore right there. Oh, okay. All right. I dig that. I like that. You are not your own, says maybe Galaxy Brain will refer to Cosmos beings like the Beyonders, Eternity. And I said to them, I think I'm pretty sure that Galaxy Brain and Guardians of the Galaxy for this month, but that's still a great thought. I love that thought. I would love a Cosmos season. We definitely need to Beyonder. Eternity for sure is a great card to have. That I love your line of thinking with that. Ajaeus Spiritus says maybe the cowl for Cowboys. Oh man, I hope so. The Western stuff would be awesome. White Star says for the cowl, Old Man Logan. Dude. Old Man Logan and Hawkeye and Old Man Hawkeye, the cards for that would be an amazing season too. Yeah, that's cool because a lot of that was very Western kind of theme based a little bit. I'd be down for that. That's a great response. I love that too. Mark 830711 says TVA in April. What is April's? Oh, the clock. Miss Minutes. That's a great guess too. I wouldn't have thought of that one. That's really cool. That's a great guess. Let me see if I have anything on Blue Sky here, as well, because I think I also posted this there. See if I got any from this. Fangride, a mascot. Said, post this earlier, but I've been convinced the glasses are Daredevil instead of the agents. Also thinking the mirror is the mirror dimension with Strange, and then the question mark is another what if season. The glasses for sure are Daredevil. I 100% agree. Mirror dimension's cool. And then I gave my thoughts about what if. The power question mark is definitely the hardest to figure out anyway. So seems ready for rampant speculation. Yeah, no, that's true. Billy said that last one is our next pandemic. Oh God, let's hope not. Jameer Sky says March, APOC / Sandstorm. April, time displays Summer's the Gray family. Oh, okay. Well, now that would be logical because you're continuing the Horseman there. Okay, smart. May is Daredevil. June, Atlantis, and maybe Lemuria. July, Spider-Man Brand New Day. August, Bova and Excalibur. September, Vision Quest or Iron Legion. Vision Quest is a great thought, right? Because, hold on. Dragons, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Bova and Excalibur he has in August. And then September, Vision Quest or Iron Legion. Vision Quest is another one that it could possibly be too. Yeah, because we are getting Vision Quest around that time of the year, so that could be too. They could be doing a Vision season, and they could have all of Vision's family, whom I actually went over on this very podcast when we were talking about the Android season, but they already kind of did that, right? Like, I mean, we already have the Vision, we have all that other stuff. We had Sparky and all that, everything done already. So I don't know, unless they're going to do the Stark Tech stuff, but it could be. October's Vampires, I agree with that. November, Wonder Man, and he has a question mark for Wonder. I would be down with that, especially because I really love the show. And December, Doomsday. Yeah, I definitely agree December is Doomsday. Very cool, guys. I thank you again for all the responses. Much appreciate that. For the call-in, the listener call-in section. I really, really appreciate when you guys are all involved. And I thank you all for that. All right, so it's time for some Snap Talk. So we're going to get into the my week in the game. And I hate to say this, but I'm still in the 80s. I kind of doubt I'm getting into 90s this month. It's a very, very difficult grind, and I am simply refusing to play Shou. I'm just refusing to play it because, and I'm not saying anyone's wrong for doing so. It is the top deck in the meta after all, and you're going to win a lot of games pretty easily with it. So I'm not saying that you should not if you are, but I just don't like to conform sometimes. And I don't like to give in. I've been playing a lot of the ramp list, the Shou ramp, or the not Shou, the Fin Fan Foom ramp list. And it's kind of up and down. It wins and then it loses, and it wins and then it loses. I've been playing. I'll get to the decks I'm playing in a minute. But yeah, I'm not. I doubt I'm gonna get to. I'm definitely not gonna get to Infinite. Yeah, but I don't even know if I'm going to get to 90 because it's just been... I think, it's funny. I've seen some other creators that are playing, like Regis Kilbin, that's not even out of the mid-80s. So obviously, and I've said this before, a lot of them are running into some difficulties with it. Drink of choice, Diet Orange Soda tonight. There is comments being made. I think these are made by Griffin, who had said that, or it was either Griffin or Glenn, that they are considering a change to ladder. They are considering a change to ladder. And I'll be honest, I think it needs to happen. I think a lot of people are just bored with it. And I think it could inject some newness to the game and things like that. So I would think that that's something I think that needs to be done. Is a change to ladder. I really believe that would help the game. I'm gonna turn my sound down 1 second here. But yeah, I kind of think I'm a proponent for that. I think the ladder slog has really, really hit a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are really feeling the crunch from it. And as am I. And I think it would just be a cool thing for them to do, and a good thing overall. I think they would do the game a service if they did. So I kind of hope it happens. So, all right. Well, I'm at 83. I might have gone down from last week, actually, because I think it was at 84. But I'm at 83. So I went on a little bit of a losing streak, losing to a lot of the Shou Lao decks. But in any case, I did complete Conquest. I got all the stuff from there. Sanctum Showdown, which I'm totally finding out that this is not one of my favorite game modes. I don't love it. I don't love it. And yeah. So but I'm at, let's see. No portal pulls, no anything like that. I did get the Fin Fang Foom avatar, which I had to get that. I love him. But no pixel pulls as yet. And I just got a couple other things. Of course, the Series 3 and Series 4 pack meant nothing to me. I just got tokens from those. Or the Series 4 pack, I think. I don't even think I opened the Series 3. But I'll keep going through it and I'll see what I can get. The pixel pulls have Creative House Pocket Hella. I have a lot of Hellas. Ben Harvey's Pixie. I do like that. Very cool looking. And then the Moon Colony variant of Mantis. And again, Mantis is such a bad card. Like, who even cares? So So there's that. Let's get to... there are some snap packs, of course, and they are the tarot ones. And I've told you guys I don't like these. But in mine, I have Blade, Captain America, Jean Grey, Legion, Namor, Odin, Athena, Storm, and Silver Surfer in the one. And in the other one, which is pack 2, it has Ares, Bucky, Captain Marvel, Frigga, Nico, and Shadow King. I do not like the looks of these cards. I just don't. I get it. Maybe if you're a fan of tarot cards and stuff like that, you would be liking them. But I just do not like the look of these cards. There's a Nightmare variant. That's the Spotlight. And then the Ultimate Psylocke variant. Those, of course, cost tokens. So I don't usually waste tokens on those. But let me get to decks here. So we'll go to my decks that I've played. All right, so this is the ramp deck I've been playing. This is Bink's list, I believe. This one has Ebony Maw, Chamber, Grandmaster, Electro, Luna Snow, Iron Man, Dragon Lord, Blink, War Machine, Galactus, Infinite, and Fin Fang Foom. So this is a War Machine version, also a Chamber. You want to be playing like that Ebony Maw in the last turn is kind of a surprise way to win. So if you get it early on, don't play it out. Even if you have the War Machine, you're probably going to want to save it because it's something you can play on the last turn, especially if you're getting that extra energy from the Luna or the Electro or things like that. So, you kind of want to save it to be able to play like a couple of big cards on that last turn. And then, of course, Fin Fang Foom is just an I win card. Iron Man is great in this because people don't necessarily expect it. And you might be able to plop that onto a lane that you maybe weren't going to get past a Shou deck with that can just maybe take you over the edge. So that is that. Let's see what else I played. Here's the High Evo deck and I played this a little bit, and it was nice. I made this my portrait deck, and I love the portrait cards. I love the portrait cards, and they came out with that Hulk bundle recently that had the portrait cards, which I had to get because Hulk and She-Hulk, both portraits in that, and that Hulk is like literally almost 1960s cartoon, old style comic book, classic Hulk, and I just love the profiles. So now I have the Hulk, the She-Hulk, and the Abomination, all with profile cards in there. Along with Cosmo, because Cosmo I have a profile card for where his face is close up, where he's trying to get the fish in the astronaut helmet. So I have some portraits in there, but this is just Sunspot, Nebula, Misty Knight, Armor, Scorpion, Magic, Cosmo, Cyclops, High Evo, Abomination, She-Hulk, and Hulk, and it is literally one of the top decks of this was on Alex Coach's top deck list of the week. This is one of the highest performing decks that is out there right now. And you want to talk about a budget deck for those of you who don't have a lot of the new cards. There you go. And it's winning. So played this one a little bit. I tried this one. This is an anti-meta deck. So if you're getting beat up by these Shou decks, this one is kind of a combo killer. This one has Spider-Ham, Iceman, Gorgon, Cable, Lizard, Maximus, Shadow King, Copycat, Super Adaptoid to steal those pesky activate cards, Negasonic, Super Giant, which stops the combos, and Ronin. And Ronin, you're going to do that because you got that Maximus combo at the end, where you could do Maximus at the end of the game, maybe play the Shadow King at the end of the game and spoil what they're doing. But this one's a good one against the Man Spider decks and also against the Shou decks as well. The new Shang, I played a little bit, and this is Safety Blade's version. He's got Spider-Ham, Elektra, Iceman, Clea, Merlin, Marvel Boy, Hope Summers, Shang Chi, Master of Rings, Juggernaut Wiccan, Eliath, and Fin Fang Foom. So that is his version of the Shang deck. I know a lot of people are playing Shang with the buff stuff. People love that buff stuff. And then my Sanctum deck. This one I've got on Glazer's stream. And this is one of the better decks to play in Sanctum, I think, because you just outpower people. It's Zero Lizard Maximus, Starbrand Ares, Crossbones, Enchantress Gamora, Red Skull, Galactus First Steps, Fin Fang Foom, and Scar. So you just can outpower people, and this is just a very good deck to play in that. So if you're still kind of like languishing through it, I would give this deck a try. It's pretty easy and it's pretty good. And then this was the Doom list that came out. This is was this Regis's? I think it was. Spider-Ham, Chamber, Jennifer Kale, Luna Snow, Doom 2099, Dragon Lord, Blink, Doctor Doom, Red Hulk, Galactus First Steps, Magneto, and Fin Fang Foom. So that's another one that I was playing throughout the course of the week as well a little bit. Didn't do really well, so I didn't stay with it very long. Okay, let's look at variants and stuff like that. So this week I got not much again, but I did get a Morgan Le Fay Eduardo Vieira variant of Morgan Le Fay. I got the Rian Gonzalez Fin Fang Foom. I got a Crossbones variant, which kind of came out of nowhere, but it was Greg Tokshini variant of Crossbones, which looks kind of cool. He's kind of falling from the sky and shooting his machine guns up in the air. Very cool. And then I got the new Ancient One variant that just came out, Zach Plachinsky variant of the Ancient One. And that's the first variant I've had of her. I don't have another variant of the Ancient One. So very, very cool. And of course, the Ancient One from the Doctor Strange movie. Very animated looking. I really like the look of it. So that is my first Ancient One variant. So that's all I really got in variants. Not too much going on. And then, of course, Collector's Vault's up. I have a Nimrod from Vector in there. I have the Captain America Baby variant. I have the Brett Bean Beast variant. I have the Thunderbolts variant of Hawkeye. I have a really cool Victor Faro. Victor Faro is amazing with these paintings, man. And the Victor Faro Ajax. I don't have many variants of Ajax. I think I literally have one. I would love to get this one, but I cannot see myself spending 2,000 gold for it. I just can't. Gold is so precious in the game right now. This looks sick, but I just can't see doing it. And then I have the David Nakayama variant of Polaris in here as well. There's an Enchantress Charmed and Dangerous bundle where you get the Vincenzo Riccardi Enchantress and 3,200 credits. The Eson bundle Celestial Seeker for 5,000 gold, 2,500 credits, 3,200 credits, 2,500 tokens. And then you got the Eson variant. Too Hot to Handle with Fire Hair, 2,000 tokens, 2,000 gold, and 2,000 credits with the Fire Hair variant. Dormammu, Dimension Devourer, Lizard, Premium Mystery Pack. So, there you go. Kind of Art Tree Studio variant of Strange Supreme, which looks sick. Looks really cool. And that is that. So that is it for the Snap Talk portion of the program. We are going to get into comics. We're going to go over to Comics Corner. And the first thing I want to bring up here is the sad news, the passing of a legend in the comic book world. and I wanted to talk about him. Sal Buscema passed away on January 23rd, 2026. He was 89 years old. He died just 3 days before his 90th birthday. And, of course, Marvel.com has big remembrance to him. Legendary comic book artist Sal Buscema passed away at the age of 89. Illustrious career spanned more than 4 decades, penciling and inking the Marvel Universe's most iconic heroes and villains, joining his brother John. The pair formed an integral family legacy at Marvel Comics. Buscema was born on January 26, 1936 in Brooklyn, citing his older brother John's artistic pursuits as a major influence on his life and career. In the early 50s, Buscema began his career at Dell Comics, providing inking and background art for titles, where John served as their primary illustrator. After serving in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Buscema joined the Creative Arts Studio in Washington, D.C., where he provided illustrations for various federal government agencies. Upon his return to New York City, Buscema began working on Marvel Comics as a penciler and inker. His first projects included inking The Coming of Gunhawk from Western Gunfighters 1956 #1, as well as later inking his brother's pencil work on Silver Surfer 1968, starting with the series' 4th issue. Buscema then helped carry Earth's Mightiest Heroes into 1970s alongside collaborator Roy Thomas as a series penciler and inker, beginning with Avengers 1963 #68. His frequent collaboration with writer Steve Englehart also produced an era-defining run of Captain America 1968 in the 1970s. Showed some covers here. You have a title page of Captain America and the Falcon called Panic on Park Avenue. Avengers number 70. Wow, comics were 15 cents during that time. The title on is Enter the Squadron Sinister. Throughout his time at Marvel, he helped launch many notable series that expanded the mythos. Defenders from 1972 brought together an eclectic group of heroes as an alternative to the Avengers, while licensed ROM series. Oh, no way. Yeah, that's right. I told you guys I love ROM. A collaboration with Bill Mantlo became a cult classic sci-fi story. Buscema also co-created the iconic Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man 1976 series, becoming a fixture in the title for an astonishing 100 issues. Reuniting with Mantlo and Incredible Hulk 1962 number 245, Buscema's decade-long run in the character redefined the gamma-radiated hero with the introduction of the UFOs and Soviet super soldiers. Buscema also served as a penciler and inker on a number of other classic titles throughout the 1980s, including New Mutants 1983 with Chris Claremont and Thor 1966 with Walt Simonson. Show Spectacular Spider-Man number 168. Avengers Assemble has She-Hulk getting punched by Spider-Man on the cover. Not sure what's going on there. And there's Rom. Oh, that's awesome. I had this book. I love this book. The Greatest of the Space Knights, Rom, and it shows Rom at the bottom of the page coming out of it looks like a comet that crash landed on a planet, and it just says Arrival. That's cool. Buscema received the Hero Initiative Lifetime Achievement Award in 2013, celebrating his exceptional career and long-term artistic contributions to the comic book industry. While in semi-retirement, Buscema worked intermittently on a series of projects, both at Marvel and a variety of other publishers, bringing titles like G.I. Joe and Dungeons & Dragons Forgotten Realms to life. Buscema left an indelible mark on Marvel and the comic book industry at large. He is survived by his wife, Joan, and their 3 sons, Joe, Tony, and Mike. Marvel extends our sincerest condolences to Buscema's family, friends, and fans around the world. So, R.I.P. to one of the best and one of the greats. And you could see, what kind of mark he made on me and the things that I loved that he did. I didn't even know he did ROM. That's amazing. So yeah, really, really cool. And the passing of a legend. So may he rest in peace. All right, so we're going to go to Shang-Chi. And we are going to talk about him. All right. Zhang Shang Chi, birth 616. Here's his quote. But there is one thing everyone calls me, one thing about which all others are certain. They call me the master of Kung Fu. Shang-Chi is the master of Kung Fu and the wielder of the Ten Rings, the son of the ancient sorcerer and criminal mastermind Fu Manchu. Shang-Chi was trained from childhood to become a living weapon. Raised in seclusion within his father's five-weapon society in China, Shang mastered multiple martial arts and spiritual disciplines, believing his mission was to uphold justice. However, after learning of his father's true nature, he rejected the legacy and swore to oppose his father's criminal empire. After his defection, Shang allied with MI6 and formed lasting bonds with operatives Blackjack, Tar, and Leiko Wu. Continued to fight against his father's global network of assassins and conspirators, traveling the world to confront various threats. Blending espionage with mysticism, his unmatched hand-to-hand combat skills earned him the recognition within the superhuman community, eventually leading him to team up with groups such as Heroes for Hire, Secret Avengers, and The Avengers. The first book I think I've ever seen him in was with Spider-Man. It was a Marvel team-up with Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. And he looked very different back then because this was in the 70s. He had really long, kind of stringy hair that went kind of like down his face. He almost had like a, what do they call that? There's a name for that. I'm going to forget it now. That type of haircut where it's just like that long, like really long stringy hair, but cut off exactly at the bottom. I can't remember the name of it now, but that's exactly how he looked when he was drawn back then. Following his father's death, Shang reluctantly accepted the role of Supreme Commander of the Five Weapon Society with the intent to reform the once evil organization into a force for good. Despite his noble intentions, this decision placed him at odds with both his allies and his own family, including several siblings raised within the society's deadly houses. As he confronted mystical threats, family betrayal, and the weight of his father's legacy, Shang continued to prove himself as a principled hero, resulting in the Ten Rings being bequeathed to him. His relationships, group affiliates, nothing really there. Host of the Phoenix Force for a little while. He is single, not married. Male, 5'10", 175 pounds, brown eyes, black hair. He is human. He is currently alive. Place of birth was House of the Deadly Hand, Hunan, China. Chinese American. Supreme Commander of the Five Weapon Society, Adventurer, Vigilante, Martial Arts Instructor, former Champion of the House of the Deadly Hand, Assassin, Secret Agent, Fisherman, Employee at Grandma Wang's Bakery. Private tutorship is his education. His creators are Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin. First appearance, Marvel Special Marvel Edition number 15 in September of 1973. 1973. When Daredevil wanted a task force to help him finally capture the Punisher and make him face legal justice, Shang-Chi became part of that group. The martial artist assisted Daredevil, Black Widow, and their allies against the Punisher and several other threats before the group went their separate ways. During this period, Shang-Chi and the Marvel Knights faced Zarin, Zhao Manshi, and dacoits in Fu Manchu's service. It's in Hellfire Apocalypse. Later built the Hellfire weapon, which could destroy cities, built by Fu Manchu, before being foiled once again by Shang-Chi and MI6. During this period, his father used the name Comte de Saint-Germain. As the Black Panther was touring in the United States looking for a wife, Fu Manchu had him followed by ninjas to Luke Cage's flat. The ninjas attacked the two heroes, but were forced to retreat, allowing the pair to infiltrate their ship and then Zheng Zu's mountain base. Going now by the name of Han, Fu Manchu offered his daughter, Kuei Far, to T'Challa, hoping to unite their kingdoms. But as the Panther refused the offer, feeling he was at that point bound to storm, Han got mad, rejecting his daughter and unleashing his ninjas over the two heroes, soon rejoined by his son Shang-Chi, Cage, T'Challa, and Shang-Chi, managed to defeat the ninjas and dodge the dragon, and all left the fortress along with Kuei Far. When the Superhuman Registration Act was signed into law, Shang-Chi joined Misty Knight and Colleen Wing as part of their Heroes for Hire, team of investigators and superhuman bail bondsmen. During this time, he developed romantic feelings for his teammate Tarantula, but her overly violent nature shamed him and he lost his center. During the Hulk's invasion of Manhattan, their teammate Humbug killed one of the insect-like hatchlings as they infiltrated the hive. Humbug was then seduced into an insect hive mind with no name of the brood. When the hive tried to identify the hatchling's killer, Humbug gave the tarantula's name instead. Shang-Chi infiltrated the hive with the intent to rescue Humbug and hopefully sever his link to the newborn hive. After hearing of Humbug's betrayal of Tarantula, however, Shang-Chi lost his temper and killed Humbug, grieving over how completely he had lost his way. Shang-Chi had left the Heroes for Hire to meditate and renew his connection to the spirit. Was in Secret Avengers, was in Fear itself. The Fearless Defenders, was also involved in Spider Island. Joined the Avengers, then after that, was part of Infinity, Avengers World, Time Runs Out, The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, Protectors, New Agents of Atlas, Five Weapon Society, Equinox Blade, Enter the Phoenix. That was when, of course, he got the Phoenix Force. We have a variant of that in Marvel Snap, actually, when he has the Phoenix Force. Journey to Tao Lo, Game of Rings, Fathers and Sons, Gang War. You can see he's been in a lot. Thunderbolts, Avengers Assemble, Astonishing Avengers. His powers, of course, he has powers of regeneration. Passable healing factor begotten of his immortal father. 10 Rings empowerment. The 10 Rings grant Shang a variety of powers, including predominant physical ability atop the capability to remotely manipulate the rings at will. Can fire them as projectiles, move their rings around as modes of transportation, restrain his opponents with them, and alter their size to either shrink or enlarge themselves. Superhuman strength while wearing the 10 rings. Superhuman durability. The 10 rings can protect Shang from attacks that can seriously injure or kill a human. Superhuman speed. His speed is enhanced while wearing the rings, allowing him to move faster than a normal human. Stamina. Improved while wearing the 10 rings, being able to exert himself for long periods of time without tiring or showing signs of fatigue. Psionic abilities. Due to him being the son of Quinlan Ryder Jing Li, he inherited his mother's psionic abilities, allowing him to mentally communicate with his blood relatives. Abilities allow him to sense and feel the pain wherever he is mentally linked. And it also has telepathic resistance, shown to be able to resist telepathic commands and emotion manipulation. First displayed resistance towards Jean Grey's telepathy. Of course, he's a master martial artist. Chi manipulation, energy manipulation, chi detection, environmental adaptation, chi augmentation, chi enhanced strength and durability, enhanced strike, stamina, healing, and speed and reflex. He's a skilled gymnast, peak physical conditioning, skilled marksman, weapons proficiency, nervous system control, pressure point locator, espionage, philosopher, a patient fisher, and multilingual. Of course, he has the uniform in his equipment. It's, of course, the 10 rings. Yeah. Although Shang was a uniquely Marvel Comics creation, many of his supporting cast members, including Fu Manchu, Fa Lo Sui, and Sir Dennis Nayland Smith, were actually the creation of early 20th century novelist Sax Rohmer. Fu Manchu and Dennis Nayland Smith made their literary debuts in the 1916 novel The Insidious Dr. Fu Manchu. That's cool. In 1995, Marvel Comics almost outsourced the production of a line of 4 interconnected series to Milestone Media. Shang-Chi was going to star in one of those books. The pitch of the story, written by Dwayne McDuffie, consisted of Shang traveling around the globe to dismantle his father's criminal empire and also adding firearms to his combat repertoire. The entire project fell apart since McDuffie had arranged it with Tom DeFalco and Mark Grunewald. DeFalco would be soon replaced as editor-in-chief, and Grunewald would pass away a year later. Shang identifies himself as a bodhisattva, a person who is on a path toward Buddhahood but has not yet attained it. Bodhisattva. That is also a song. Tell me who sings it. Tell me who sings it. Boy, if that wasn't made for the lyric challenge. Tell me who sings Bodhisattva, 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 take me by the hand. Tell me who sings it, guys. The name Shang-Chi was created by Steve Englehart through his study of the I Ching, combining the characters and the meaning, rising and advancing of the spirit. In 2019, actor Ronnie Ching advised against using the translation, which in modern Chinese means something like upper air, an odd fit for a superhero. More culturally appropriate alternative is what he tried to get him to go for. So there you go. Very cool. A lot of stuff there about Shang-Chi, and we are going to go back to the Marvel Comics app, and we're going to look up Shang-Chi as well and find out what we see. What I see is making me sad because it's issue number 22 of Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh, good Lord, that makes me so sad, man. Knowing it's coming to an end in 2 issues. Okay, so let's look him up here. And there he is, and the details. Shang-Chi's childhood was lonely, dominated by rigorous mental and martial arts training. He overcame his early life as the son of a powerful criminal mastermind to use his masterful skills for good. And of course, he had his own comic from 2021 to 2022, 12 issues. Another one from 2020 to 2021, that was 5 issues. The Legend of Shang-Chi was 1 issue in 2021. He had his own Infinity comic in the app. Master of the Ten Rings was 1 issue back in 2023. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings from 2022 to 23, 6 issues. Shang-Chi's Best Moments. Then we go to Shang-Chi number 7, number 8. This is all the 2021 series. Astonishing Avengers Infinity comic. Of course, like I said, he has his own. Was in Spider Island. Now we're going back. Master of Kung Fu from 2017. Deadly Hands of Kung Fu from 2014. Agents of Atlas from 2019. Heroes for Hire. Was in a Hulk book. Was in Man-Thing. Master of Kung Fu Bleeding Black from 1990. There you go, Secret Invasion. Because I told you guys he was in that. I'm just trying to go back to see. Okay, here we go. 1974, giant-sized chillers. Marvel Chillers, 1975, 1976. My dog just shook as she woke up from a slumber. And then some of his creators. So it doesn't look like there's one from 1979. Oh, that's the Spider-Man book that I had. Dude, that's amazing. It's Spider-Man Marvel Team Up number 84, and Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu. I actually had this book. That's sick, dude. Oh, that's awesome. This is probably where I first saw Shang-Chi. They're fighting against Silver Samurai. And he looks very different. This is where I told you he was wearing a bandana, the long black hair. Oh, man, this is sick. I'm going to have to go back and read this because, of course, I forgot all about this. So Viper's in it, too. Oh, man. Wow, dude, this brings back memories. Oh, this is so cool. Man. Yeah, dude, this just takes me back. That's amazing. Black Widow's in it too. So cool, dude. I want to see something because I just remembered something I had Shang in as well. I want to see if I could find this. I had a play set. Is this it? Oh, it is! I had a play set called the Marvel World Adventure Play Set. It was made by a company called Amsco from 1975. And what this was my grandparents bought this for me. And it basically was it was a little bit annoying because you had to put it all together. And it was all made from cardboard. It's just kind of like a little bit heavier cardboard, like puzzle material. But you had to pop it out of the cardboard, and it had little slots that you'd have to put it in on, like you'd have to put the buildings in. And the buildings it was kind of like a diorama. And the buildings had, you could stand, and then of course they came with a whole bunch of the characters. And the characters had their little standees that they could stand on, but they were made of cardboard as well, but you would slip them into these little plastic stands. And it also had a plane you could build, this like little jet. I'm not even sure. It might have been like supposed to be a Quinjet. I'm going to take a picture of this because I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this with you guys on my social medias. You could check it out. This is sick, man. I'm so glad I found this. But yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, it did have Shang-Chi. So I could see the figures. I could see Luke Cage, J. Jonah Jameson, Doctor Doom, Loki, Red Skull, Thor, Kraven, Hawkeye, Submariner, Namor, of course, Doctor Strange, Hulk, Human Torch, Doc Ock, Falcon. Looks like Aunt May and Mary Jane, Iron Man, Captain Marvel. Now, this was Marvel. The Falcon's bird, Nightwing, is there. Scarlet Witch, Vision, Cap, Spidey, and Green Goblin. Now, there's two on here. I don't know who it is. Oh, okay. I think that's the Lizard. And then the other one, I think, is Moondragon. Ah, so cool, man. And like you could just it was basically you kind of as a young man or as a young boy, you just play with the figures like they were like small little, just make your own little play sets, your own little battles and stuff like that. It's so cool. It had a thing called Have the World of Marvel in Your Own Home. Released in 1975 by Amsco, a division of Milton Bradley. The playset was a colorful representation of the Marvel Universe to build and explore at home. Manufactured from fiberboard and illustrated in a style similar to Marvel Comics of the era. Playset included everything required to reenact comic storylines and imagine new ones. Everything needed to recreate the Marvel Universe included Baxter Building, the Daily Bugle newspaper office, Peter Parker's apartment, the Avengers townhouse, Doctor Strange's sanctum, the Negative Zone, Fantastic Four's fantastic car, an elevator, a secret trap door, Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America, Fantastic Four, Avengers, Scarlet Witch, Hulk, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, the Green Goblin, Shang-Chi were among the 36 characters. Assembly was required. The pieces were die-cut and needed to be carefully detached from fireboard template. Characters are inserted into green plastic bases for stability and easy posing. The buildings required folding and assembly in the corresponding space indicated on the underside of the playset box. The work to set up the playset was rewarded. Each piece looked like it had jumped directly from the comics, including the exterior of the building facades. The building interiors were thoughtfully detailed to encourage varied patterns of play. The Marvel playset originally retailed for $6.95. Playset could also be ordered through the mail for an additional 89 cents postage and handling fee. Mint editions of the toy are difficult to acquire because many of the pieces included with the set. The fact that they were made out of moisture-absorbing fireboard and because exposure to light eroded the illustrations. Produced other fireboard playsets including Space 1999, Planet of the Apes, The Waltons, and others. Oh man, that's so cool, dude. Love stuff that takes me back like that. That I remembered Shang-Chi was in that. That's crazy. But yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. All right, let's go to the comics quick. And I'll tell you what my books of the week are here. All right, so let's see what we got. No, well, I already said. We got Ultimate Spider-Man number 22. Oh my God, I'm so sad that's ending. So sad, dude. Let's go to the new this week list. We have Simbi Infinity Comic issue number 1. Doorman Infinity Comic issue number 1. Marvel Rivals Infinity Comic number 39. Stormbreakers 2026, that's a sketchbook. Issue number 1. Miles Morales Spider-Man Brooklyn's Finest, issue number 4. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, issue number 5. Ultimates 2024, issue number 17. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, issue number 13. Spider-Girl, issue number 5. The Last Wolverine, issue number 1. Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck, issue number 3. Predator Kills the Marvel Universe is up to issue number 3. Spider-Man, I told you, Ultimate Spider-Man 2024, issue number 22. Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 39. Fantastic Four, issue number 4. The Undead Iron Fist, issue number 2. X-Men Infinity Comic, issue number 4. Predator, Black, White, and Blood, issue number 4. X-Men Book of Revelation, issue number 1. Jedi Knights, issue number 8. Uncanny X-Men Facsimile Edition, that's from way back in the 80s, issue number 140. Radioactive Spider-Man, another new Spider-Man title, issue number 1. Omega Kids, issue number 1. And Jeff the Land Shark, issue number 5. What do I have here? I don't know. I have something in my email from the app. It's a Rivals subscriber exclusive. You get a Land Shark Love in-game spray. So that's kind of cool. They do give you stuff like that if you play Rivals. I am not a Rivals player, but you do get bonuses and stuff from the app if you play Marvel Rivals. So that's cool too. Alrighty. Well, there you go. That is Comics Corner for the week. We are going to go now to the MCU Minute. And, of course, the first thing, we got the Daredevil Born Again trailer. Debuts on March 24th, Season 2. Looks awesome. Jessica Jones is back, and so are a lot of the other cast members. And some people are even rumoring we might get a post-credits for Mike Coulter's Luke Cage. We might see him come back as well. So really looking forward to that coming up in March. Let's see here what else we have going on in the MCU. We have obviously, you know what, I'm going to go over. I'm not going to spoil Wonder Man because I would like to have you guys, as many as you can, watch it because I thought it was really, really good. Really, really good and definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. And that's what most of the news is about. Comicbook.com is Wonder Man creates an MCU plot hole in the first 4 minutes with a surprising reference. What are Wonder Man's powers in the MCU? See, I'm not going to really go into all this because I don't want to spoil any of this because I really think you guys should go read it. 15 MCU actors confirmed to appear in both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. This is posted by The Direct. So let's see. Robert Downey Jr., Doctor Doom. Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm. Joseph Quinn, Johnny Storm. Ben Grimm. Anthony Mackie, Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, Latita Wright, of course, Shuri in Black Panther, Wyatt Russell, John Walker, David Harbour, Red Guardian, Hannah John Kamen, Ava Starr in Ghost, Haley Atwell, Captain Carter, So there's that. I thought that Oh, there we go. So this is the Doomsday thing I was telling you a little bit about before. This is a poster, I think, that appeared somewhere that looks like the cover of a comic book. That up in the left-hand corner of the comic, where you usually see the creators' faces, you see Kevin Feige and you see the Russo brothers' pictures. And these are all done in comic book style. And then going across the cover, it says Avengers Doomsday. And then from left to right, you have Kelsey Grammer's Beast. You have M'Baku. You have Ben Grimm, the Thing. You have Nightcrawler. You have Red Guardian. You have U.S. Agent. You have Channing Tatum's Gambit. You have Cyclops. Of course, that's James Marsden, Cyclops. You have Ant-Man, Paul Rudd. You have Namor. You have Mystique. That's Rebecca Romijn's Mystique. We have, of course, Thor, Chris Hemsworth. We have Loki, of course. Who else do we have here? We have Captain Carter. Shang-Chi. We have Ian McKellen's Magneto. We have Human Torch. We have Yelena Belova. Doctor Doom front and center in the middle. Sue Storm, and you have Franklin Richards and Reed Richards. And then, of course, you have Patrick Stewart's Professor X. You also have Sentry in there next to Thor as well. So these are all supposedly confirmed characters for the upcoming Doomsday film. So, talking about Infinity War. Marvel is prepared to replace one of the most iconic and beloved Avengers in Secret Wars. Who is this? According to Daniel Rickman, Marvel Studios will introduce a new Black Panther in Secret Wars. The role report claims that the studio has already been meeting with actors about the role. Chadwick Boseman introduced Black Panther, of course, as T'Challa in Civil War before going on to lead the critically acclaimed Black Panther 2018. Following his tragic death in 2020, Marvel chose to have T'Challa also pass away in the movies, evolving 2022 sequel Black Panther Wakanda Forever into a tribute to him. Ryan Coogler had stated that Marvel Studios would not recast the role, and as a result, his sister Shuri took up the mantle in the sequel. However, more recently, actors like Damson Idris and Aaron Pierre have been rumored to be attached as the new Black Panther. In fact, a new report from Rickman also suggests that Idris has met with the studio about playing the role. So, yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I would think that that's a smart idea to do is to recast it a little bit. I think that's worth it. I think that that they would, the actor would have wanted it to be recast also. Chris Hemsworth says Avengers Doomsday will appeal to both old and new fans of the MCU. Says it's designed to hit for both longtime MCU fans and people just jumping in. The actor described himself as one of the elders now on a set that mixes familiar Avengers with big wave of new heroes. The film brings characters like Thor, Captain America, and Loki alongside the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Wakandans, and more, all facing off against Doctor Doom. Avengers Doomsday is directed by the Russo brothers and is set to hit theaters on December 18th, 2026. So, there you go. So that is about all of the MCU stuff. And then, of course, I'm going to get into the Pixel perspective a little bit. And all I want to really talk about in Pixel perspective is, and again, I was talking to you earlier about how my wife watched a gamer playing playing Silent Hill 2. And, of course, my wife got into it and watched that as well. So I kind of wanted to just talk about that a little bit. If you have not played any of the Silent Hill games, and again, you got to kind of be a horror fan, and while some of the images in it are a little bit disturbing, There's a little bit of gore, but most of the gore comes from the creatures that you end up killing and stuff throughout the course of the thing. The creatures are disturbing. They are disturbing. They have nurses in it that are like no face on them. They carrying knives. So the creatures are a little bit disturbing. So if that kind of stuff bothers you, you probably want to stay clear. But it is a psychological horror game, and that's kind of the reason why I like it. The Silent Hill 2, very interesting premise. First of all, the game itself is based upon a town that's actually close to me. It's this town in Pennsylvania called Centralia, which was there was a mine fire that was started there many years ago. I believe it was in the 20s or 30s. The town had buried a bunch of garbage where they were situated on top of coal mines, as a lot of places in Pennsylvania are. And they decided to bury garbage there and light it on fire. And ever since then, underneath there have been burning mine fires. In fact, the fires are still burning to this day, and they're spreading. Many people were forced to move out. The government actually paid them to leave the town. Some people stayed, but many of them died of cancer because of the fires and the smoke and stuff like that. And the town always had this really creepy fog that would linger around it at nights and stuff if you were up there. I'm very sad that I never got to see it, because I wasn't really old enough to know the legends of it and all that kind of stuff. And later on, the town ended up getting there ended up being a place up there called Graffiti Road, and it was one of the routes that you would drive in to get to the town, where people would just go there and they would tour it and walk around and stuff just to see it, just to see like these like bubbling hot springs like coming out and the steam pouring out of these. They went and inserted like these little things around the area to alleviate some of the pressure from the mine fires, and you would see the steam coming out of the mines from these pipes. So it was a dangerous area because ground would crack. People there were accounts of where a child fell in and they were able to save the child, but like all this stuff happened. But that's essentially what a lot of Silent Hill is based on. If you've ever seen the movies, the first movie follows probably more of the second. Well, no, more of the first part, but it's changed a little bit. They changed around the story. But in any case, I was always kind of drawn to it, and the first one came out for, I think it was original PlayStation. And I remember playing it. I remember it was very hard because it's very different from games like it. Like Resident Evil was out around the same time. But in Resident Evil, you were playing with guns and ammunition. You were able to shoot stuff. Your guy was like a marksman. In this one, you were not meant to use weapons. Your guy was just an everyday person, and they made it that way where when you did come across weapons, you weren't very good at it, so you did a lot of running away from the characters and stuff like that in it, and you carried around a radio, and whenever the radio you would hear static in a radio, and they incorporated that into the film too. You knew when you were going to be around some of these like crazy looking images and ghosts and all this kind of stuff, that whatever they were, demons, whatever the hell they were. But I was always kind of intrigued by it. And then when Silent Hill 2 came out, oh boy, what a story. Of course, it's a different story in almost every game, and the movies are different too. They just did a new game called Silent Hill F, which takes place in I think it's either China or Japan, so completely different story. And they remade Silent Hill 2, but I mean, such a cool story. Like basically, it's about a husband, or in the game anyway, a husband's wife has passed away, and the husband ends up getting a letter from her. saying to come to Silent Hill, come to our special place, right? Now, this, of course, was before Silent Hill turned into the place that it was, that this was a place that they went and visited. And so they telling him to come back there. Now, he knows full well that she's dead. But he gets this letter, and now, all of a sudden he has to go. Now, there's a lot of reasons for it. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a lot of reasons for him going because of getting this letter, okay? And, his journey and the remake of it looks so good. I mean, my God, Bloober Team just did an amazing job with this remake, and just the aesthetics, the way the town looks, the fog, the rain, it just looks amazing, so amazing. And but along the way, he meets these different people in Silent Hill, and of course the disturbing creatures and the images and all this kind of stuff. And again, I'm not going to spoil it, because if you ever want to play it, I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend it, especially if you like horror games. It's one of the best. It's literally one of the best, and it's one of my favorite games that I've ever played. And the story is just absolutely brilliant. The music in it too, the soundtrack, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, unfortunately, I heard the movie sucked, and I was going to go see it, and I couldn't go because of the snowstorm. But I heard the movie isn't good. It's disjointed, and here's my take, okay, on this. Movies that are converted from video games, you don't hear many that are good. Some people hit on them, like Mortal Kombat. What else? Like for me, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, I thought was very good. Now that was animated, but and some of them like Sonic, right? Sonic's been doing pretty well. Mario, the Mario stuff's been doing pretty well. But games like this, almost like an action RPG or an RPG that tell a long story, right? World of Warcraft comes to mind too, as and I didn't hate the World of Warcraft movie, but these movies that these people that they think they can make a movie that's just going to tell a story that has to be played out over hours in a video game that can take you 50 to 80, 90 hours to play. To condense it to an hour and a half or an hour and 45-minute film, you are setting yourself up to fail, because you just can't do it. The best way to go about it is to do it like The Last of Us has done, and do it in a series where you can have several episodes that can go through the backstory of the characters and all that. That is the best way to do it. Last of Us has been good. Season 1 was great. Season 2 was good. I enjoyed it. Not as good as Season 1, but that's the way you've got to do video games. That's the way. Fallout is also killing it right now. But that's the way you've got to do video games. You can't do these story kind of games in a 1.5 hour, 2 hour movie. You just can't. It's going to come off as disjointed. It's going to come off as bad. People that are going to go in and see it, that maybe would be interested in it, are not going to understand it. They're not going to get it, okay? They're not going to get it because you don't have the characters fleshed out. You don't understand what's going on. You don't, and I completely get that. I completely get that. So I really kind of wish that, especially for Silent Hill, that they would kind of do that they would do a Silent Hill series. I think that would be amazing if somebody picked it up to do it that way. And I think I may have told you guys this last week, but I also watched Until Dawn, the movie, and that was kind of crap. That was kind of crap. I didn't enjoy it. The game was way better, and because again the story is fleshed out over a long game that goes on for hours and hours and hours and hours, and the movie just tries to cram it into a 2 hour movie, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So So go play Silent Hill. If you're into that, if you like scary stuff, if you like horror, especially psychological horror, and if you like a game that's just going to suck you into a really, really, really good story, and a sad one at that, be prepared for the end of it, because, man, I'm telling you, my wife was saying, "Oh my God, like this is just very, very sad," and it is. It is a very, and you can get multiple different endings to it. But it is quite a sad story, and but very good. I would recommend it to anybody to go play. It's just that good. It's really, really, really good story. So, all right, guys. Well, look, that's gonna probably just about finish it up. I think I've gone over everything there was that I wanted to go over, except, of course, for the awards. Please remember that the Snappies are going to be on my next podcast, and I want you all to vote. So I'm going to put it in the comments on Twitter. I'm going to put it in the comments on, I'm going to come up with the categories probably tomorrow. I'm going to come up with the 5 categories. Maybe it'll be a little more, but probably 5 at least that I'll come up with. That I'm going to ask you guys to vote for. So make sure you're checking my socials, Twitter, Discord, and Blue Sky. And I'm also going to put it on YouTube as well. And I'm going to have you vote. So I'm going to put it in the form of a poll to vote on each one. So please come out and vote. I'd really appreciate it if you do. And of course, I'm going to include all your answers in that section. And I just want to make sure that did I go over everything I wanted to go over? I believe I did. Yeah. All right, so we are going to go on to the end of the show, and we're going to go to the Lyric Challenge. But before I do, I just want to say I am a proud member of the Snap Judgments League of Podcasts, where you can find such amazing shows as, of course, Snap Judgments, Glazer's Pod, where he has awesome creators on there all the time. Many times joined by Nick the Greek Geek, of course, and Roy as well. Does it every Friday or Saturday, I believe. And, of course, Glazer also does all those cool deck videos for you guys, so make sure you check out Glazer's work. He had decks out there for the new meta. He had decks out there for Sanctum and all that good stuff. So make sure you go check out Glazer's videos. Give him a watch. He's giving away stuff too most of the time, so make sure you go check that out. And also Snap on This with, of course, Lauren Whatevs, who's been a very busy person herself, doing so many things that she's got another podcast that she's doing as well. So make sure you go check out Lauren Whatevs. And of course, Benjamin Roller and It's Just Re on Snap on This, which is a great show. They do a great job keeping it fun, talking about other games and stuff like that throughout there, going over the new cards. I'm sure they'll have their card rankings and stuff this week. I'm a little bit behind. I didn't hear their last episode, so they may have already done that. But make sure you go check out that. That's just a great podcast as well. So, all right, guys, here we go. It's going to be the Lyric Challenge. And let's see. Now, if you're paying attention, I mentioned one of these bands earlier in the pod. And I'm going to give you a lyric from them. All right, here we go. All right, this is a song from 1983. It's from one of the bands that I mentioned earlier. I mentioned a lot of them, so that may not give a lot away, but here we go. Oh, let's go. Let's strike a light. We're going to blow like dynamite. I don't care if it takes all night. Gonna set this town alight. Come on. What do you want? I want rock and roll. All right. Long live rock and roll. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there you go. That is the lyric for this week. To go ahead and guess. And so let me know if you know what that is. And you too can win a famous Marvel No prize. All right, guys. Well, there you go. This is a longer one again, but I had a lot to discuss. and of course the rankings and all that kind of stuff, and the OTA and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you hanging with me and listening to the pod wherever you may listen to it, on Spotify or on Apple, wherever that may be, or on my YouTube page, which is out on every single week now as well. I thank you all for doing so. And please make sure that you keep an eye out for the season passes that I'll be giving away, which will be probably the middle of this coming week for the new season. So I'll do that, and I'll let you know what is going to be entailed in that. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also, please make sure you vote on the Snappies, so we can have a really cool awards thing on the next podcast. So, all right, guys, that is it for me for this week. And that is it for the podcast. Have a great, great ending of your month and the rest of your week in Snap, however you choose to play it. And also, please be kind to one another. Stay safe, especially if you're in this wicked, wicked cold. Stay safe. And hopefully I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ, signing off.